remind me in the big group, because there's a lesson to be learned here. And the lesson is that they underestimated how motivated the seller was. Mm-hmm. Both cases. Mm-hmm. Now, that's a good thing. It's not a good thing that they underestimated it, but it's a good thing to find somebody that's fucking motivated.
It means the industry's hot because there's other competitors.
Correct. See, because normally when they say, Jade, we got 3 other people, that's bullshit. That's not that. Maybe 10% of the time they got other people.
Unless it goes through brokers who basically send out the IO.
Well, yeah, and the brokers will send out information, or have information hand carried, and they're thereby violating their own fiduciary responsibility to the client. Because in theory, a broker, depending on the agreement that you have with the broker, is either representing you or the seller. If he's representing the seller, then he puts the information out all over the place. That's fine. But, I mean, my experience, again, only 10% of the time have I had a viable, a legitimate, straight-up relationship with a broker. Unfortunately, now, at the small end of the investment banking boutiques, they're no better than brokers, really. They call themselves investment banks, but they're not. I mean, because investment banks have a much more strict ethic. Okay, so I'll get down off my soapbox. So where are we now on your stuff?
Jade is presenting us his
I don't mind doing it today. We want to get through ours, but you were saying that we're going to do a role play as well?
Yeah, no, but we're going to get through everybody's cases. But this afternoon I'm going to do a role play. And of course we've got Rox's deal. We're going to, and contrary to what he thinks, I don't think the board meeting is going to last very long. Not because it's going to blow up or anything. It's just that and I'm not trying to de-emphasize the importance of board meetings, but normally the kids have way too many. And one of the things I said, we were going over the agenda just now, and he's going to open up the meeting, and he's going to turn it over to me as his chairman. And I want to say, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, like I always say, my same line, we will not be adhering to Robert's rules today. Okay? And because Robert's rule, well, now it's online, is a fucking book this thick that covers every possible outcome known to man that could happen at a board meeting. Lightning strikes the door. The deputy chairman falls dead in the salad. I mean, you name it, and it covers it. And so I say, just as I said at our board meeting, we will not be following Robert's rules. Now, half the board members understand what that means. The other half don't give a shit. And so nobody said anything. What I don't say anymore, and I used to say, is there anybody have a problem with us not following Robert's rules? I used to many, many years ago. And then some guy, like De Silva, raises his hand, not trying to fuck us around. He says, why aren't we going to follow Robert's rules? So then I adjourned the meeting real quick, and I took the De Silva in the deal outside, and I said, why, yes? No, I just wondered. I never did a Robert's Rules meeting. I don't really give a shit. I just thought it'd be interesting to do one. I said, no. It would be, instead of a 4-hour board meeting, it'd be a 3-day board meeting. I said, no. And then we go back in, and then the Silva raised, no, on second thought, I really don't want to follow. I'm not interested in Robert's Rules because it's a very tedious, time-consuming process. The World Bank follows Robert's Rules. International Monetary Fund follows Robert's Rules, etc. So the big, huge global organizations follow Robert's Rules, but we don't. And so the first words out of my mouth are that we're not going to follow Robert's Rules. And not normally, 99.9% of the time it's okay, except for that one time many years ago. And so now I don't ask, everybody okay with it? I know better than to ask that, because somebody will say, oh, that sounds cool. Let's try it. But anyway, it'll go smoothly. And until you have your first board meeting, this is a slight exaggeration, Doc, but I mean, Joe was like a whore in church. I mean, he was worried about this, and this is going to happen, all this bullshit. And I knew none of it was going to happen, but, until you've been through it, and he was concerned. It's his baby, and so we walked through it. And then the irony of all this is we were in Mayor Bradley conference room.
Yeah.
And I knew Tom Bradley, the mayor, former mayor of Los Angeles. I knew him since I'm a little kid because he and my dad were contemporaries in the LAPD, Los Angeles Police Department. And so I'm sitting there looking at Bradley's face during the meeting. I'm kind of chuckling, looking up there. But he's a kid that came from the depths of poverty and in South Central Los Angeles. A black guy who became a cop, went off to World War II with my dad, came back, was a cop, studied for the bar, became a lawyer, and then became mayor. And he was a 3 or 4 or 5-time mayor of Los Angeles. So I'm sitting there looking at his picture, laughing to myself during the meeting, thinking that if Tom was around, he'd say, "Hey, Dan," and again, in those days, they used to call me, "Danny, what are you doing here?" In my conference room. Okay, so you're going to present your case. Are you eating those cookies, Doc?
No, I brought for the team.
I mean, God.
I brought for the team. We don't have snacks.
It's good
here.
for your heart.
So which case are you going to present?
Jay's case.
Okay.
We also have another case.
New Zealand.
Yeah.
Okay.
We also have another case where we have divergent viewpoints. We're thinking of presenting it in a role play style.
Okay. Now, divergent because
there are different options.
Because you're Chinese, or no? Divergent because why?
Different understandings.
There are different ways to do it that we think.
Okay,
and then
good. That's good for the other guys. Mm-hmm. That's good for the team. And yeah, that's fine. And this afternoon, but this afternoon, the last hour or so, I'm going to do role plays based on what you guys asked me to do, and I'll do that. I said, "Sally, can you come in and play the other side?" She said, "No."
That'll be fun.
So I'll just turn my head like this and be both sides of the deal. But I didn't realize, and I've said it 3 or 4 times, I didn't realize that I was confusing the kids because, you two guys would do it, and then I would correct Joe and I would correct Kira, but the thing that resonated wasn't Dan correcting you, it was how they talked. So then they go out in the real world and do this, and I couldn't understand why, the fuck, are they all thick? And so now, since I've been doing it the other way, the last several months, whereas I played both parts, and so they know what 90% of the time you're going to get asked, and 100% of the time how to answer it, and that resonates better, and so it's worked very, very well so far, and I'm sure over time we'll continue to refine it, because my goal and my job, my duty is to give you the best practices, so you can go out there and make it work. But all of you, we're going to put your own twist on it. All of you will put your own twist on it, partially from what part of the world you are, partially, male or female. And I've told Kira this. I don't know if she believes me yet, but women have an advantage in QLA. Just flat fucking do. It's wrong, but there's nothing I can do about it. Women have an advantage. They do. And they've had it ever since I've been doing it for 46 years. And been coaching you guys for half that time, 23 years. Women have an advantage. And so just as little Lucinda did, and so that will just continue because of the way human nature is, and especially with political correctness, getting more, in my judgment, worse and worse. People are more likely to be nicer to women, and listen to their bullshit, and because of PC. And but in New York, when I was coming up, I don't care if you were the Virgin Mary. I mean, they make a shit. It was they didn't care. Of course, now after having the 2 active duty military guys here last week, I mean, it broke my heart to hear them say what the military's turned into, and how it's flipped on its head, But anyway, I'm glad I'm not there doing that. I'm sure I'd get thrown out or court-martialed or something. Okay, so the case you're going to present is your case.
Yeah, as you said, we had another one, so it doesn't matter which order we do it. I mean,
Okay.
I'd like to do mine, but
Okay,
it
good.
doesn't have to be today. So
Okay, well, we've got time. And what is your Weed Man has got another deal, which this deal is better than the deal that got sold out from him. And you know, I'm not telling the audience to go into legalized marijuana, but it is fucking hot. I mean, and if Weed Man had better sales skills, well, his sales skills today, or he's like Lord Olivier, or like Tom, what's Crowe's first name? The Australian actor? Russell Crowe. I mean, compared to what they were 6 months ago. 6 months ago, I mean, he couldn't talk. He had dreadlocks down to here.
Really?
I mean,
Really?
And I said, even weed, you're not going to get away with that. And and it just says, you know, putting the doctor on the spot. I mean, his communication skills are fucking 1,000 times better is being an exaggeration, but 10 times better is not an exaggeration. And and it's quite remarkable. And a few other guys in the room, their communication skills are, you know, have really improved. And if you had to have anything, you could have if you have a low IQ but superior communication skills, this is perfect for you. You know, I'm not saying that you low IQ is good, but I mean, you don't have to have a high IQ because the blocks fit together. Now, I've never been able to do a Rubik's Cube. Is that what they're called?
No.
Okay.
Right.
And back in the day, 20 years ago or 25 years ago, I knew my kids. Here, Daddy. I'm going. I never completed a Rubik's Cube. Never. And for some people, this is here, Mr. Peña. For some people, okay, but they eventually get it. Eventually, all the shoes drop or all the pennies drop, and and when they do drop, you'll look back upon what the fuck was I thinking? You know, how could I have misunderstood or misconstrued or misapplied or whatever? And then it becomes simple, because you know, the process isn't hard. On that good note, YouTube, we'll talk to you later.